approval of the minutes remain silent. And those who are opposed, please raise your hand virtually or unmute yourself and say no. Hearing no no's or hands raised, the minutes are approved. District Manager Sean Campbell.
Thank you, Ed, and good evening, everybody. And thanks for your continued patience with this this format. And thank you to Anya Hoyer, who's actually the one keeping attendance and who sets this all up. And I don't know, it seems to present a different kind of headache every time. So thank you, Anya, for your patience and perseverance with this WebEx form. We've been busy, so I've got a few things to report on tonight. I'll try to talk fast to get through it quickly, but finished with budget consultations. We met with 17 agencies and now in the process of considering the information that came out of those consultations and working to include them with our agency priorities and comparing them to our district needs for the budget meeting that we'll be holding on October 27th and for updating the district needs statement. And I'm working to reframe that so that we're looking at our district needs in the context of the current pandemic and the urgency of our economic recovery. So it's you know, everything we've asked for in the past years, I may have said this before, I'm sorry, but everything we've asked for in past years, I would say, you know, nearly all of it comes into even greater relief when we have a crisis. So I'm trying to underscore that if these needs had been met previously, they wouldn't be as dire and urgent as they are now. And speaking of urgent, you know, the governor has issued an executive order that creates zones within, and many of them are within our community. So we're working to make sure that the zone information is updated on the website and the corresponding restrictions for each zone are up there as well. Community members are being advised to call 311 if they have a concern, because there is a special enforcement task force that will address the concern, depending on what specifically it is. So I know a lot of times when we say call 311, it sounds like we're telling you it feels non-urgent, but in this case, the 311 system has been set up to respond to these community reports. This also had an impact on some community events that were supposed to move forward. And so I'm sorry that some of those smaller events were canceled, even though we had said, I think on Tuesday that they were fine. And then by Wednesday last week, they were canceled again. There are exceptions, of course, for food emergency events, for food pantries, and for farmers markets. But again, if you have any questions about things that are going on the street and you want us and you want help, please give us a call. And if we don't know, which we might not because it changes so frequently, we'll work to find out for you. I owe the board a couple of updates. One is that I did check back with Borough Hall regarding the borough president's proposal to include community input in the selection of commanding officers for local police precincts. I was told that conversation really hasn't moved forward since we last spoke, but you know, but the request actually, you know, pushed it along, and so hopefully there was movement on that. And I did attend an introductory training for the Youth Council through NYC Service, and I sent the board a copy of the training and then the link to apply to participate in that. Not with the idea that anybody would use the link to apply, but just so you could see what that looked like. It looks very promising, and I look forward to continuing the discussion, I guess, at our next budget consultation, and then offline if anybody wants to reach out about particulars of that. I also, the Civic Engagement Council is organizing a conflict resolution training in November that they announced today, and we'll send that along to the board. I know some of you took part in their training on parliamentary procedure. which means you know how to stop me from talking. So I'll leave it here for now, but I do encourage you to take advantage of those trainings and let me know if you have any questions with any of the above or any questions whatsoever. Thanks.
Thank you, Sean. Just before the chair's report, it's my understanding that at the 70th precinct, we have a new EXO, a new executive officer, and that he will be or has joined us tonight. Captain,
I believe he's on the call now.
Yes, I'm here.
Good. Captain, I won't take a chance on butchering your last name. So I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself.
Sure. Thank you very much. Yeah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stan Feldstein. It sounds easier than it spells. I'm newly assigned here. I've been here since last Tuesday. I took Captain Zelikov's spot. He moved on to bigger and better things. So I'm here. Hopefully I can work with all of you guys. And I live in Brooklyn. Just a couple of things about myself. I live in Brooklyn. I grew up here. I'm around 14 years with the department, and I always worked in Brooklyn. I started in Crown Heights, then I moved on as a sergeant to Fort Greene. Then as a lieutenant, I came back to Canarsie. Then as a captain, my first stop was in Bay Ridge, and this is my second stop. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to work with the community. My family lives in Brooklyn, so I'm invested in Brooklyn. I grew up here, and hopefully we can make it better than it is now. If you have any questions for me, whatever I can tell you, I can answer. Whatever I can't, we'll take it, and we'll get back to you later.
Well, thank you, Captain. Welcome, first of all, to Community Board District 14, and of course, welcome to the 70th precinct. At Board 14, you will only find friends here. We love the 7-0, and we love the NYPD. So welcome, and look forward to spending many productive days with you.
Thank you.
Hi, Captain. This is Gail Smith. I just want to also echo the chair's comments. Welcome, and we look forward to working and partnering with you.
Thank you, Gail.
Okay, comments from any other board members?
It's
questions?
It's Joe Dweck. I was privileged to meet Captain Feldstein at the 6-8. We brought lunch over there about 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, and it was a delight. Thank you so much. Welcome, Captain.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay.
Say something?
Of course.
Yeah, I would just, I know that the police have a lot of things to keep them busy, but this area between like the corner, the south, I think it's the southwest and northwest, but that section of Coney Island Avenue, Foster Avenue H is just a nightmare. In the late afternoon, early evening, cars double and even triple park. You don't know who's coming in, who's coming out. If you have to make that turn onto Foster, it's really, really scary because of you're trying to see around double parked vehicles and pedestrians maybe trying to cross at the same time. And then you have double parked cars on Foster forcing cars to actually come at each other from opposite directions, like a big game of chicken. I don't know what to tell you, but it's so dangerous and so scary. And as someone who lives right there and has to deal with it regularly, it's like my biggest nightmare. So just putting out the word there that clearing out the double parking, I think is a big issue.
Okay, Nina, yeah, we'll look into it. It looks like that area is a mask and a food pantry.
Well, the between the mosque is off to one side. It's not right at that corner, and that's really has not been an issue. It's where there's a Carvel, that corner where there's a Carvel. You've got the bus. Now the bus is trying to turn to head east on Foster, and there's a couple of stores, and there's a Carvel and so forth, and it just gets crazy.
Yeah, well, I'll have my traffic guys take a ride over there and see what the issue is, see if we can improve any parking positions over there. Like if the people are waiting to pick up anything, maybe we can direct them to park somewhere else. Even if they double park somewhere else, but if they double park somewhere in the area that's not as dangerous like Coney Island over there, there's a lot of traffic. Maybe we'll do that. So yeah, so I'll send them over there just to check it out, see if there's any improvements can be made. Thank you for your suggestions.
Thank you.
Yep.
But once again, thank you, Captain.
No problem.
So the chair's report, I almost said the captain's report. The chair's report will consist of a couple of things. First of all, committee assignments. By now, all board members should have received your committee assignment. And if you've not received, please let the board call the board office and make that known. Or if your assignment isn't exactly what you had hoped for, if you are displeased with your assignment, we try to be flexible. So again, let the board office know about that as well, and we'll see what we can do about it. There's been a lot of discussion about revision of the bylaws, and we're trying to form a bylaws committee. At this time, it's my understanding that we only have one person on that committee. So if you have real, genuine, sincere interest in working on the bylaws, please submit your name to the board office, and we'll consider assignment. And finally, on September 30th, a public hearing was held online regarding a special permit application that's filed pursuant to section 73-621 and 73-622 of the zoning resolution of the city of New York, as amended to request 2 special permits to enlarge an existing single-family residence. One for the portion located in a residential R2 zoning district, and one of the portion located in a residential R3-2 zoning district. The address is 2328 Olean Street between Avenue N and Avenue O, block 7677, lot 78, PSA calendar number 2020-50-BZ. And as I recall, the consensus of board members attending was to approve. And before we take a vote on that, is there any discussion by board members? Okay, hearing none, we'll use the abbreviated voting technique. So I'm just going to ask that anyone who is opposed to to approval, or anyone who, well, first of all, anyone who is opposed, please let it be known by raising your hand virtually, if you know how to do that. If not, just unmute yourself and say no. If there's anyone wishing to abstain, please follow that same procedure. If there is anyone wishing to declare himself or herself ineligible to vote on this, please follow that same procedure.
Ed, for the record, I just want to say that there were no hands on any of those options.
Thank you, Sean. Which means that the board then is voting to approve. And that ends the chair's report and moves us to, first of all, before we move on to topical committee reports, are there any elected officials or representatives present?
Good evening,
So,
Mr. Powell.
oh, forgive me, is that Nancy?
Yes, hi, how are you?
I'm well, Nancy. Thank you for joining us. As always, welcome.
Thank you. So, should I start off or wait till the end?
Nancy, we'll have
by all means.
the representatives of elected officials usually give their announcements during the public session after the topical committee reports. I'll defer to Ed if he wants to change that.
That's the normal procedure. So let's go with that. And
Okay.
Nancy, we'll look forward to hearing from you during the public speaking period.
Great.
Are there any?
Lewis is present.
Good evening, everyone. My connection is a bit spotty. Can you hear me?
Is that Farah?
Yes,
Yes.
we can. Yes, we can, council member.
Welcome, council member.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Chair Powell and District Manager Campbell and the entire board for hosting today's meeting. I'm just trying to fix the volume here. I'll be quick. I wanted to introduce everyone to a new employee I have. His name is David Allerhand. He's having connection issues as well. So once he jumps on, I'll introduce him later. But I just wanted to let everyone know that we've been tackling the uptick of COVID in the 11210, 11230 sections of my district that fall right dead center in the red zone. We've been working directly with the mayor's office and the governor's office to address it. And we got two rapid testing COVID locations open 7 days a week. That started as of this week. We made the request a week ago. So 1223 Coney Island Avenue, which is the Midwood Pre-K, they have a testing site there. This is a little bit outside of CB14, but Scarsfield Playground on Avenue M and East 38th is the second location. They have told us that they would be providing another COVID site, but would love to work with CB14 regarding providing PPE in the area. So I'll contact you, Sean, to see how we can work on that together. But we all know that COVID-19 is still a public health crisis, and we want to be able to work with the community collectively to ensure that we could get the numbers down and keep everyone safe. We know that 400,000 rapid testings were provided throughout the whole city. So we're just happy to know that they've considered us a location where they want to provide additional testing. So I just wanted to share those two locations and let everyone know that we're working diligently to receive more PPE to give out to the community. And we did receive a lot from the governor's office as of Friday, and we're trying to get more testing sites. And our office is working on domestic violence, breast cancer awareness virtual events this month. That's all I have for now, but I just want to thank everyone for their time and partnership and look forward to working with everyone as we tackle the COVID issue in our community. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Council Member. Are there any additional elected officials, or I should say public officials or representatives with us tonight? If so, please unmute yourself and introduce yourself. Okay, hearing none.
We do have Pincus Hyken from the Comptroller's office on the line, just to acknowledge him.
Pincus, welcome. I hope you'll be saying a few words on behalf of Scott Stringer in the public comment session. Okay, to move on to topical committees, the first committee is Human Services. Is there a report from Human Services?
Hello, Chair. Hi, everyone. Joanne Brown here. There's no report from the Human Services Committee, but I do have a brief report from the CB14 Census 2020 Complete Count Committee Task Force. Look how good I am at that now. So I wanted to give you this really great news that on the 7th, the Ninth Circuit Court maintained that we would have an October 31st deadline for self-response and NARFU activities. But now I'm here to give you the bad news that SCOTUS has overturned that, and so we're not sure what exactly the end date is going to be, but it's going to be very rapid, and it is not going to be to the end of October. Okay, so the numbers I'm about to give you could possibly be the final numbers for Brooklyn and some of the tracks in Community Board 14. So I'll just very briefly say, as of the 13th, which is today, Kings County has a total self-response and NARFU collection count of 59%. I have some really great news about one of the tracks in Community Board 14, which is 508-04. That's Woodruff and Crook Avenue, still taking it to the lead. 75% response compared to only 64% response in 2010. And then we have another tract, which is 512, that's Albemarle, around East 16th Street and East 18th Street. Also 74% versus 64% in 2010. So in total, there are 12 tracks in Kings County that have somewhere between 74 and 85% of a response rate. And Community Board 14 has one of them, and that is that Woodruff Crook Avenue. So I'm so very proud of our district. I'm so very proud of the board for supporting this initiative. I'm sad to say that it's coming to a complete halt, but we'll just keep our fingers crossed. Lovely to see you. Thanks so much for everything that you do.
And we're so very proud of you, Joanne, for all the hard work that you put into this.
Here you are, Joanne. Thank you. And it's a pleasure working on that task force with you. You did a great job. Thanks for stepping up to the plate. I believe Baza Ruhi also has a committee-related announcement. Baza?
Yes, hi, good evening, everyone. Nice to see you, that you guys are healthy and happy. We're gonna have a day of dignity with the partnership of Islamic Relief of USA on October 24th, Saturday, 12 to 5 p.m. But the real event, we're gonna start 1 p.m. The best time to come 1 p.m. And Day of Dignity would create an opportunity for caring individuals from diverse communities, and especially we are going to arrange for the homeless people. And on this occasion, ACMW provides the fresh cooked lunch and blankets, clothing, socks, hygiene kits, and free medical care like blood pressure, blood sugar. And we are trying to get some help from any hospital, from any clinic for the flu shots or COVID testing. And
okay,
I'm gonna advertise, I'm gonna advertise this event in shelters, especially in Avenue H shelter, and there's 2 other shelters. So please join us. I would love to see you all.
Thank you, Baza. Is there a website or any place that people can go to get information? Are there flyers or anything?
Yes, flyer I'm gonna upload tonight, and tomorrow I will also send on the CB14 website. I will give it to
Right.
you so you can post on the website. And please advise me any shelter in our area, in our neighborhood. So definitely, yes, I will send you the link.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Community environment.
No report at this time, but I've been to Prospect Park quite a bit. It's being heavily used by people trying to get some fresh air and open space, as is the Botanic Garden.
Sounds good. Okay, thank you, Donald. Transportation.
Hi. On September 23rd, we had a joint meeting with the Library and Education Committee, and I guess you'll hear more about that, but one part of the meeting was devoted to a bike lane around Prospect Park, particularly on Parkside Avenue from Ocean Avenue to the circle by Coney Island Avenue. So that is a project that is happening. I think, and there were quite a number of people at the meeting, I guess bicyclists, and who are generally happy with this proposal. And they're going to have lanes going in both directions along Parkside Avenue, and we're gonna. Sean can tell you we're gonna support this. We're asking for more lighting along Parkside Avenue, but the people at the meeting viewed this as a positive development.
Right. Thank you, Joel.
Ed, and Joel, could I jump in a little bit though?
Sure.
Just to put a finer point on it, there's a letter has been drafted for the Transportation Committee to submit, and it was pointed out at the meeting that so DOT, and just so the members of the public know this, because we did get some comments during that meeting and an email regarding this, CB14 was not being asked to approve the bike lane because it was a plan and they were moving forward with it, whether the response had been positive or not. And in this case at the meeting, as Joel said, it generally was, but asking for a letter of support when they were going to do it with or without the support seemed a little bit, just shady. But so in that letter, though, there were some points that were brought up, like the old bike lane that we had opposition to because it terminates in the truck route and doesn't have a rationalized exit strategy from Rugby or to Argyle from the parade grounds, so that cars are on the truck route and then on the sidewalk. So DOT did say that they would sort of review the exit strategy and see if they can rationalize a connection through the parade ground to this Parkside Avenue one. And then as Joel mentioned, the lighting, I took a ride down Prospect Park Prospect Park West compared to Parkside, and Prospect Park West has about double the lights per block segment, even though their block segments are much, much shorter. So we're going to use this, it's not a support letter so much as it's not an objection letter, to try to gain some leverage in those points. And if I can stay on this topical report for a second too, there was also today a meeting with DOT, and they invited a few community boards because they're now expanding their city bike stations into our district. But we're really in they're on phase 3 now. CB14 is really in phase 4, except this one tiny little sliver along the parade ground. So we're going to post that project up on our website, and DOT is asking for community input as to where community members think good stations would be. But we're going to put some language in there just to help manage the community members' expectations in terms of timing. The parade ground installations will happen probably within the year, starting in early 2021, and the rest of the project won't move forward until after that year. So thanks for letting me hijack the Transportation Committee report for a little bit. I just wanted to make sure those updates were in the record.
Thank you. I'd just like to say to the board that Sean let it be known that that they should let us know before the fact, before they come to us looking for approval. You know?
All right.
Yes.
It's what they used to do.
Well, thank you both. Education, Libraries, and Cultural Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is Steve Cullen with the report. As Joel mentioned, there was a joint meeting on Wednesday, September 23rd, with the Education, Libraries, and Cultural Affairs Committee with the Transportation Committee. So Joel already discussed the main transportation item. So in terms of the education-related items, first we had event night from the School Construction Authority. So basically what she told us was that because of COVID, basically more than a dozen projects within our borders, our community board borders, are unfortunately paused or on hold. The paused projects are constantly under review, she said. They're waiting for approval of Office of Management and Budget. Once funding has been identified, those projects can hopefully move forward. For those projects that are on pause, there's not a target start date because of the city's budget, the current budget crisis. And any SCA projects that have been restarted have been recent. They've had to put some new safety protocols in place, so there's no completion dates in place for current projects. She also mentioned that ventilation and air conditioning projects have been given priority given the COVID times. In terms of projects that she did have updates for PS 152 and 315 in Midwood High School, the new playground, schoolyard, and community garden recently opened to the community. For PS 109, there's a replacement of a water heater that's been restarted. PS 193, there's a library project that's been restarted. PS 217, exterior modification has been restarted. And PS 249, an air conditioning project is recently restarted. And Ms. Knight clarified in response to a question that PS 139 yard work hasn't progressed beyond the design phase. So that was the first item from SCA. The second item was regarding DOE, and we had Devontae Graham, who's the Borough Manager for Community Affairs at the Department of Education. This was all before the red, orange, and yellow coding and school closings in our district. So apologies if some of the information feels a bit dated, but we're going back a few weeks. So he told us that he's the board's liaison to the DOE. The schools had just reopened, so he somewhat pretty candidly acknowledged the school reopening has been a challenge for the DOE thus far. He acknowledged some things should have been handled earlier and differently. Mentioned multiple times that getting students devices has been difficult, and making sure students have internet and that students without internet don't get penalized has been a priority. They've been massaging attendance policy given the circumstances. He also discussed busing. For busing, prioritizing special needs students has taken place. He said that bus drivers are ensuring social distancing. Grading policies are being modified to take into account student situations. He also said if a student or teacher tests positive, the DOE will shut down the school or a portion of a school and conduct extensive cleaning, and parents will be notified and given an option to switch to remote in the event of a closure like that, or in the event that someone tested positive. With regard to a teacher who had tested positive at PS 139, Mr. Graham said the teacher would be kept out for 2 weeks and then they'd follow up as to whether they wanted to return in person or do remote instruction. He also told us that DOE has a community roundtable every Friday, which Sean said we'd include in the link on our website going forward. Some additional information provided by community members. There's also random COVID testing and random temperature checks that are being conducted. There's also, I don't know if this is consistent across all DOE schools or across the district, but there's an isolation room for folks who have any COVID-like symptoms that occur throughout the school day. So that was the DOE's report. We also had a third item that was kind of a combination of education and transportation, which was about schools utilizing street space for instruction or play. That was a program introduced by the mayor over the summer. And for that, actually, Sean was able to update us. Community boards don't have a role in the process. It's really a process where schools apply through the mayor and DOT. Sean had asked the DOT update us because we want to know about potentially any effects on traffic patterns. We haven't heard back from DOT or the mayor's office, but Sergeant Rios told Sean that he'd notify her if any other schools applied. As of September 23rd, only 2 schools in our district had applied. One was PS 134, which later withdrew its application. Yeshiva Flatbush got approved for a closure E16th between Avenues I and J. A community member told us that PS 217 parents had asked the PS 217 principal to make use of outdoor space, but basically there wasn't sufficient staff to justify it. Basically we decided that the board would try to work with schools on a case-by-case basis to the extent appropriate going forward. Finally, we mentioned this during the committee meeting, and I'll repeat it here. Given all that's going on locally, especially with regard to education, I just wanted to extend, and my co-chair, Carl Henry Cesar, wanted to extend an open invitation for non-board members who wish to join the Education, Libraries, and Cultural Affairs Committee. Based on the membership, it looks like we can welcome up to 2 non-board members to join our committee. So if anyone out there is interested, please contact the board office and we can, get that process going. That's it from our committee. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Youth Services. Well, just before youth services, we're going to be coming up on our public session shortly. So if there's anyone who wishes to speak, please put your name and organization into the chat or email Sean at the board office so that you can be acknowledged. Youth Services.
Hi, Mr. Chairman. First of all, greetings, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well in the fall of this crazy year that we're living in. Just a quick reminder, everyone, be sure to vote this coming November 3rd. Vote early. You don't have to wait till November 3rd. Just want to put that as a public service announcement. We have no specific report for anything right now, and I'll defer to our co-chair, Dwayne Joseph, if he wants to add anything to this front. But we are going to continue working with Sean in the office on the youth council front that we were looking at spearheading with the rest of the committees. And we're going to look to follow up a little bit more closely with what's going on with DYCD in terms of internships, SYEP, Summer Youth Employment Program, and start having some conversations to get a head start on any modifications that might be coming down the pike, given just where everything is in relation to the pandemic and then funding across the board, because of course that's going to be impacted, very significantly depending on the outcome of the election, probably. So, Dwayne, I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that.
No, that was perfect, Jonathan.
All right, then I shall yield back to the chair.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Dwayne. Public safety. Are either of the public safety chairs with us tonight?
And I do see that Steve Plotzker is here. I'm not sure if he's able to. Oh, looks like he's on.
I'm sorry, Ed, it's Joe Dweck.
Mm-hmm.
If I could just interject for a moment, that we had at the 7-0 precinct on Friday a anti-graffiti morning at Dorchester and East 16th, and they cleaned it so much, amazing. They painted in about 3 seconds. I'm now hiring Scott Nuzzi for my house. Also, we had a cops and coffee on Flatbush Avenue last Tuesday, I think it was. And it was a really wonderful event where the cops and community folks just showed up to get to know each other. And it was wonderfully intimate and wonderfully informative for both sides. That's it.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you, Joe. Zvi, are you able to get on?
Svi, we still can't hear you, so I'll just announce it that you and I and Brian Cunningham are working together to try to set up a public safety committee meeting date in November. And so we'll announce that. If you can, don't hesitate to let me if you can barge in. And then I'll just stall for time a little bit by reiterating what Steve Cohen said about inviting people, public members to the Education, Libraries, and Cultural Affairs Committee. That invitation is actually an open invitation that pertains to all committees as per our bylaws. So if members of the public would be interested in joining those committees, you should just make that interest known.
Thank you, Sean. Actually, this brings us to our public comment period. Board members are expected to remain on the call during the public comment period. Matters of civic interest and announcements of public events are invited. No partisan political appeals or advertising of for-profit enterprises are permitted. Each speaker will be permitted to speak for up to 3 minutes and may not receive additional time from another speaker. Speakers are directed to, well, I can forego that. The board has an obligation to conduct its business in an orderly manner. Any person preventing the meeting from continuing would ordinarily be asked to leave and if necessary, escorted from the room by the police. However,
I'll just mute you.
Things have changed. The intent of the public comment period is to permit the board and the community a chance to hear diverse perspectives on public issues. Accordingly, we ask that groups be represented by a single speaker. It is now 7:21 p.m. and I'm asking Sean to please announce the first speaker.
Okay, I'm going to just give the order of speakers, just so that those of you who are waiting know that you're on my list, and if you're not on my list, you know to let us know you want to speak. We have Nancy Lulu, followed by Aaron Solomon, followed by Lisa Derrick, and then Joanne Brown. So go ahead, Nancy. Thank you for your patience.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. I bring with me this evening greetings on behalf of DA Gonzalez to each and every one of you. I would like to start off by saying in times where almost everything has been changed by the pandemic, our core obligation at the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office have not. We continue to work and we continue to hear and prosecute cases to make sure that Brooklyn communities stay safe. Just a couple of quick announcements. On Friday, October 9th, the Brooklyn DA's office celebrated Hispanic Heritage Month. This year's theme was Community Champion, where we virtually showcased the contributions of members of the Hispanic community by honoring them for their community service. 3 of the honorees were Dr. Francis Lucerna, co-founder and executive director of El Puente. We also honored Sister Ana Martinez de Luca, founder and executive director of Sure We Can. And we also honored Police Officer Edgar Santano from PSA 1. If you haven't seen the virtual event, you could view it on our social media platform via Twitter or Facebook. Also, since October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and there has been an uptick in domestic violence during those difficult times, if you know someone who may be vulnerable during those crises, I urge you to reach out to them and just let them know that help remains available. At the Brooklyn DA's office, we offer a wide array of supportive services for those experiencing domestic violence in their homes. The phone number to the Domestic Violence Bureau at the DA's office is 718-250-3300. On October 15, 2020, we will be having a food distribution event in Crown Heights. We'll be providing groceries and other resources to individuals in need. The distribution will start at 11 and will be held at St. Mark's Day School at 1346 President Street, Brooklyn, New York. First come, first serve. Face coverings will be required, as well as social distancing, of course. And lastly, I would like to conclude by giving out the Brooklyn DA's Action Center's phone number. If any individual would like to address a matter or file a complaint, please reach out to the Brooklyn DA's Action Center at 718-250-2340. And I could be reached at lulun@brooklynda.org. And finally, I would like to welcome the new captain to the 7-0 precinct, and I look forward to working with them. And I would like to thank CB14 for all their great work. I enjoy working with them, one of my favorite community boards. And thank you for everyone's partnership, and be well and stay safe. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Nancy. Sean, who's next?
Nancy, you're one of my favorites too. It's Aaron Solomon from Urban Dove.
Hi, Community Board 14. My name is Evan Solomon. It's funny you say that. My brother is actually Aaron. I don't know
Sorry about
how you could know
that.
that. No worries at all. It's wonderful to see everyone. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. As I said, my name is Evan Solomon. I'm on the Community Affairs team at Urban Dove. I know our executive director, Jay Nanda, has spoken before the community board before. So we're very excited to be in your district and to be in Midwood. And I'm here tonight, one, to introduce myself. On the community affairs team, I will be liaising with the committee. So if you have any concerns or anything that you need from Urban Dove, I'm a point person to talk to. And second, to get the message out that we are still enrolling students. We still have spots in our school. For those of you who may not know, we are a transfer high school for students who have fallen behind academically, typically 14 to 16 years old, and have completed like their first or second year of high school and are like a year behind in credits. We have a trimester schedule that gives students ample opportunities to catch up on their requirements for credits and for regions. We have a sports-based youth development pedagogy, lots of support from a coach, multiple teachers in the classroom when class is happening in person. We have a college readiness and a workforce development program for our students to prepare them for life beyond Urban Dove. So we are looking for any students who may be able to benefit from our model. If you know anyone or know any organizations that may have students that could benefit from Urban Dove's model, I would love to be in touch with them. My email is esolomon, ESOLOMON @urbandove.org. So please, any questions about requirements or anything, please send them my way. And again, it was very nice to meet all of you. Thank you so much. And I hope everyone stays safe and healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Solomon. The next speaker, Sean.
Is Lisa Derrick.
Lisa, you might be muted. You might want to unmute yourself.
Anya, are you still seeing Lisa on the meeting list? Because I don't have her name in front of me.
Yeah, I don't see her either. I think that she
may have had to jump off to go somewhere else. So then we will move on to Joanne Brown.
Hi everyone, I'm back. I'm just here to make an announcement. The reason why I serve on the Human Services Committee is because I'm a healthcare worker. I work as a registered dietitian at Kingsbrook Jewish Medical Center. As part of Vital Brooklyn, Kingsbrook Jewish Medical Center is part of a legal merger with Dale University Hospital Center and Interfaith Medical Center to create One Brooklyn Health. In order to complete the merger, Kingsbrook will be closing their acute care hospital beds. And while this is outside of the district, we have only 2.2 beds per 1,000 in Brooklyn compared to Manhattan, where we have 6 hospital beds per 1,000. And so it is important. Every single bed, and in this case, it's 163 acute care beds, is important. So what the staff has decided to do to sort of celebrate and connect with how we responded to the COVID-19 surge, the first surge, was we're going to be holding an oral history period on Thursday, October 15th at 8:30 p.m. And we invite you to come and listen to staff tell a 5-minute story about their participation, perhaps their reaction with a patient, something that was really memorable for them. Bring tissues, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be, a little bit of a cry fest. So I don't have a public link right now for YouTube, but I'm going to put my email in the chat. If you're interested in joining in to listen to our poignant stories and to help us celebrate how we contributed to the community by providing care to the residents, just shoot me an email, and once I have the YouTube link, I'll send it to you. Thanks for letting me talk. I hope you'll join us.
Thank you, Joanne. Next speaker.
Lisa Derrick has made her way back to us. Lisa, are you on now?
Excellent.
Lisa, I see your name, but I do not hear you.
Lisa's video is on as well. Lisa, can you hear us?
Hi, Lisa, we can see you.
I'll try her in the chat real quick.
Sorry.
No, we can hear you.
me?
You can start speaking.
Yeah, go ahead.
We can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay, thank you. My apologies that I was having problems with my computer. I heard you calling for me and I just couldn't get in because it was still processing. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Powell, Ms. Campbell, to the board. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm here on behalf of Assembly Member Rodney Bouchot, as many of you know. Just wanted to make a few quick announcements. We will, since this month, October, is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, Assemblymember Bouchot's office will be hosting a domestic violence awareness virtual event. It's going to be on Thursday, October 22nd, and we will be having panel speakers from the district attorney's office. We will have a representative from Safe Horizon, from the YWCA, and we'll have an interactive session with participants of the meeting with Third Root. So this is going to be, again, Thursday, October 22nd. It's going to be from 6:30 to 8:30. I'll be more than happy to share that with Community Board 14 so they can share it with the rest of the community, and we look forward to having you all. Please do share with anyone that you think may be able to take advantage of this forum. We also will continue hosting our mass distributions. We've been doing a number of them as of recent. We had a mass distribution on October 2nd with the congregation, the class Yehoshua of Monastrich, if I pronounced that correctly. And also we partnered with Councilmember Farrah Lewis's office on October 5th to host another mass distribution at the junction. We'll be looking to do a lot more of these in the communities that are heavily concentrated and also those communities that are experiencing an uptick. I'm so sorry to hear about the census. I know that that was reported recently, although we don't have a date yet. I just would advise everybody to use every last day to inform all the people that you know to get the census completed until we are actually shut down. I'd like to welcome Captain Feldstein. Assemblymember Rodney Bichat, I'm sure will be happy to meet with you. Welcome. Thank you all. That's all I have. I'm done with my report. Thank you.
I'll just go ahead and move it along then to David Cronin is with us, who would also like to make an announcement from his organization.
Sorry about that, by all means.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I guess you can see the top of my head, but that might not be as entertaining. Sorry about that. My name's David Cronin. I was originally going to attend this group for my involvement with the Kew Gardens Club, which I was happy to receive the report of the updates and the process in this district, which I really appreciate. I volunteer for another organization called ITDRC. We're active in a homeless outreach project earlier this year in February, and supporting IT for the homeless outreach project in Manhattan. They've developed another project called Project Connect, and it's actually been pretty well funded by a lot of our donors. And the basic idea is to provide IT infrastructure for organizations that already have Wi-Fi, but the ability to extend it to a farther reach. One of the examples that we use, particularly like libraries, for example, that already have internet access, but maybe it's just limited to within the building. This provides equipment to extend the wireless capability beyond to a larger area. We've had churches make use of it, so people outside in the parking lot can get access to the internet if they don't have, even if they can't get into the building. The idea is, one of the hardest things to deal with in the current COVID situation is people not having access to the internet. A lot of jobs require it, a lot of, as well as just keeping in touch personally. So I'm going to put a link up if that is a situation that may be applicable. Feel free to fill out the form that's on there, and let me know if you have any questions. I'll put the link up if that's okay. Sean, should I send it to you?
You could put it in the chat, and it would be useful to have if you would email it to us. We can take a look and post it if possible. Also, thanks for the work at Kew Gardens. You guys are doing a great job over there too.
Thank you. I'm new to them, so I credit them for the work.
Oh, well, then get busy, because
yes, ma'am.
And that's our last speaker for this evening, as far as I can see.
Okay, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'm sorry, before you entertain that motion, I just want to remind you, I don't think anybody made an announcement about the upcoming Police Precinct Community Council meeting this month.
Oh, it will be as usual on the last Wednesday. And what date is that, Sean?
That is October 28th.
October 28th at 7:30. We will do a virtual meeting. Please join us. The community board will have the link. So I'll see that the board has the link, and please join us. You'll have an opportunity to talk more at length with our new XO, the captain. Okay. So at this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn at 7:38. All those who are opposed, unmute yourself and say no. The meeting is adjourned.
All right. Thanks, Ed.
Good night,
Thanks,
everyone.
Sean.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Have a good one.
Good
I've
night.
never had training.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Alvin.
Yeah.